Pittsburgh Steelers franchise has had a tremendous offseason in my eyes, but are they really truly one move away from being actual Super Bowl contenders? Let's talk about the real reality of this football team as they head into Latrobe, Pennsylvania for the start of the 2024 training camp period. Welcome back to Mic Drop Sports, everybody. I'm Jason. Let's dive in here on a Thursday. I appreciate you for stopping through, but I want to talk about the true reality of this football team. What is sitting here in front of us, what the Steelers already have on paper, whom is already in this building, why is the focus so far outside of the building? We have to focus on what is inside of this building. At least the franchise needs to be focusing on what they have inside of this building, because those moves, those decisions are going to shape this franchise for the next several seasons. And if the Steelers aren't willing to make the sacrifices and do the right things that are needed with what they already have inside of this building, no move will make sense. No move makes a difference. When you bring in a high-priced, big-time wide receiver, none of that will matter, because there are things inside of this franchise that have to take place now. And if it doesn't happen, it's all for nothing. All those trades would be for nothing. All the, talk about getting this great skill position player would be for nothing. All this Brandon Ayuk talk would be for nothing. There's so many things that have to happen in order for those types of moves to actually matter, to actually mean something heading into 2024. And you look at the Steelers franchise and you say to yourself, where is the focus? And I think that they have understood what needs to be the focus of this franchise. And I think that they have emphasized to get a young stud offensive line to really try to put the building blocks in place to achieve that goal at a cheap, economical price in terms of salary cap. You look at the draft picks that have been invested, Troy Fautanu, Broderick Jones. You look at how they've just literally, Zach Frazier, literally just focused right here in the immediate, the last 2 seasons on that offensive line, and they understand that without a good offensive line, none of this goes. And I think that that is the real reality, or at least part of the reality of this Pittsburgh Steelers football team, is how you set that offensive line group up. How do you put them into place? What positions do you need these players at that you've collected this great collection of talent that you have gotten over these last couple seasons? You look at Broderick Jones and you say to yourself, what was the reason he was drafted? It wasn't to play right tackle. It was to play left tackle, to be the stud left tackle on your offensive line. And if that's the case, put him there. And if not, don't keep tampering with his position. Don't move him right to left to right. Don't do that. If you want Dan Moore Jr. to be a starter on this football team while you allow Troy Fautanu to grow, he has to be at the right tackle spot, unless you're going to keep Broderick Jones at the right tackle spot for the foreseeable future and allow Troy Fautanu to fill in at that left tackle spot. If that is your plan, so be it. But if the Pittsburgh Steelers, in the reality here that we are living, in reality, if they don't get that part right, all these other moves are for nothing, guys. They're absolutely pointless. It does not matter. Because without a solid offensive front, it does not matter what the quarterback's doing. It doesn't matter which skill position players you have. It doesn't matter about any of that, because without an offensive line that can protect those guys and allow the play to start, allow the play to develop, none of this works. It doesn't matter. And I think that that has to be the ultimate focus of this football team. And it has to be the focus of the fan base too. I think we need to quit, screaming out for this wide receiver that wouldn't matter one bit without this offensive line being securely in place, being in a position to grow, allow them to be serviceable to good now. If we don't allow that to happen, or the franchise doesn't allow that to happen, and they rush and they make the wrong decisions and they put players in the wrong spots, and make grave mistakes there, you're just wasting moves. You're wasting time. You're wasting everything. It does not matter. Nothing will come to fruition for this football team. None of the goals that they want to reach will happen. And I think that it's something that's so important that it has to be talked about. And I think that it's overlooked a lot. I know we talk about it and we think about it often, but I think it's the most important thing. is this offensive group, this offensive line group particularly. If they're not in the proper positions, this whole train stops. It comes to a screeching halt. Then you look at the defensive front. And this is another part of the reality that we are living in with this Steelers team here in 2024. You look at that defensive front and you say to yourself, is it going to be good enough? Do they have the players in place at the right positions in order to be successful? You look at a young Keanu Benton who's slightly undersized for where he is playing, but you hope that his athleticism and his background as a wrestler with great leverage, great tenacity at hunting quarterbacks, filling the run. You hope that energy will overcome a little bit maybe of his deficiency in the size department, maybe being slightly undersized. You hope that he grows into that role that the Steelers need him to fill. And then you look at Cam Hayward, an aging veteran guy who's given his all to this Pittsburgh Steelers team, but has not got to taste the sweet spoils of victory at the championship level. He's not got to experience that. And you say to yourself, is he healthy enough? Is he young enough? Does he still have enough gas in the tank in order to be successful, be the leader on that defensive front, and be productive for 2024 and beyond? What about his contract situation? There are many questions that you have to ask yourself here, guys. You look at guys that they've brought in, Dean Lowry. You look at players that they've gotten in the draft. You look at what they have done and you ask yourself, is it enough? Is it enough? Have they applied enough focus on that defensive front in order for this team to be successful? And you look at this team as a whole in reality and you say to yourself, are the trenches secure enough in order for this football team to do the things that are going to be needed to be done here in 2024 to get them to where they expect to be and where to the fan base is expecting them to be? The fan base is growing impatient, guys. We all are. You are. I am. We are growing impatient. No playoff wins since 2016. A real drought here. We sit in 2024. That may not seem like a long-ass way away. In the past, it doesn't seem too distant, 2016. But in reality, guys, it's pretty far away. We're almost reaching a decade without any type of playoff success. That's crazy to me. And if you're the Steelers, you should expect nothing but success. And the people that say that we're spoiled fans, that, we shouldn't put these high hopes on players. We shouldn't put these high expectations on this football team. You're wrong. You're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, and there ain't nothing more I can say about it because that's not a winner's attitude. You have to come out as a winner. You want to have that winner's attitude, and the expectations have to be there. You have to set the goals that are needed in order to be successful. We have to really rally around this, guys, and look at the real reality of this football team. The reality is that we aren't positive. We aren't yet 1,000% sure that this offensive line, this defensive front is going to be able to get the job done. And again, without those two groups, without the trenches being secured, none of the other stuff matters, guys. It doesn't matter at all. It doesn't matter if the Pittsburgh Steelers go out there and sign a wide receiver to a massive mega deal, bringing them in, coupling them up with George Pickens, because you're not going to be able to get the ball to them. It doesn't matter if the defense surrounding that defensive front, everybody around them, every other position group there is a top 5 defense. But you look at that defensive front and they're not able to stop the run. They're not able to, really collapse the middle of that offensive line for opponents and really create disruption. They're not able to be productive. None of this matters. It doesn't matter. And this is the true reality of this football team. And we need to quit looking outside of that because, yes, all those other moves that we so desperately want, that we talk about every single day, are amazing. They're great. Yes, they would be fun to have. It'd be exciting, man. No doubt about it. But the true reality, the true things that should be focused on are the trenches. And that's where it all starts. And that's every good football team has their trenches to good to serviceable, man. They have to be. And if we can't count on that and that's not going to be the case, you're in trouble, man. You're in trouble from the word go here in 2024. And I think this is the most important moment of Mike Tomlin's career as the Pittsburgh Steelers head coach. This is a defining moment for Arthur Smith very early into his Pittsburgh Steelers tenure as the offensive coordinator. This is a big moment for Terrell Austin as the defensive coordinator for the Pittsburgh Steelers because they have two things in front of them. They have the defensive line and the offensive line. So they have to have these trenches secure. And this is going to be defining moments for them right now, here in 2024. Soon as July, in less than a week, a defining moment starts for both of those, all those guys, both of those units. A defining moment in their career. And I think it's going to either propel Mike Tomlin into the upper echelons of the coaching world to where, he does deserve a Hall of Fame nod. He is that guy. Everybody will be back on that Mike Tomlin train if he is able to ensure that these trenches, these guys in the front are good and in the right position and make the right choices there. I think that definitely helps his career because I think this makes that football team, if you secure the trenches, guys, this football team can be successful. It can have double-digit wins here in this season. This 2024 season can be successful. It can be one in which is exciting and full of wins and full of us getting to the playoffs. Well, the Steelers getting to the playoffs and maybe actually making some noise. And I truly think if they make the right moves here along the trenches, that this football team, the sky's the limit. And yes, making moves outside of that wide receiver, whatever you got to do, skill position wise, awesome. Those are bonuses, and those will only help this football team. But the real focus, again, has to be on the trenches. And if that's not the focus of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and then that's not where they're putting all their energy here in 2024, it's a wasted season. It's a disaster of an off season, and they're not looking at reality. They're thinking, I don't know. They're out there in left field somewhere, man. And without that thought process being correct and adequate and doing things the right way and choosing your path here with these guys in the trenches, you're in real trouble, man. And I think that spells the end of the Mike Tomlin era, if you ask me. I think it gets the Arthur Smith era off to a very rocky start. And I think it puts Terrell Austin in trouble as the defensive coordinator. And I think this, guys, and this will be my last statement on this, and I'll get off my soapbox talking about this reality that I think the Steelers are living in, that I think we, the fans, should start living in the media also, and maybe quit pushing the trades and all this right now and really focus on what's the most important and talk about the real story that is concerning this football team and what is going to dictate their success in 2024. And that is the trenches, guys. And I'm going to just say this last thing. If they aren't able to get the trenches secure and they aren't able to make the right choices in order for this team to have solid play inside of the trenches this season in 2024, I think it spells the end of this football team and their rebuild. I think that it will be a football team that is, blown up, man, and torn back down and a restart. And I think that the days would be numbered for this coaching staff as a whole. I really, truly believe that. And I'm not saying they have to go out there and win the Super Bowl, guys. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying that this franchise, the ownership group, the general managers, the front office staff, I think has to see the growth of these groups in the trenches. And I think they understand that those are the most important things right now. And if they see that growth, you're going to see this football team continue to grow and you're going to see good things. And I think they understand that. And I think that they realize that if this coaching staff fails and they don't make the right decisions with those groups and they aren't able to get them to play, that maybe it is time to figure something out. And I'm not saying they fire Mike Tomlin, but I'm saying they gently nudge him out the door. I'm truly thinking that, guys. And I know he just signed a new deal, but those deals can be, they can make them go away for sure. And I really truly believe that the Pittsburgh Steelers understand the assignment here, and at least in the front office staff, and now they put it in the coaches' hands, and they've given them, I think, the tools in order to be successful and the tools in order to actually build this football team from the ground up. And not be a football team, not be a franchise that's going through a total massive rebuild. They've given them the players. They've given them first-round selections along the offensive front. They've given them guys through free agency, in the draft here in the last couple years along that defensive front. Also, you have an aging superstar in Cameron Hayward. So that there's guys there. There's players in place. The defensive front is probably the one that I'm most worried about. I still think that the offensive line can really do some good things here with the young talent. So I'm pretty optimistic about the offensive line. The defensive line is probably where I'm more worried. But again, guys, those are the things. That's the reality. That's where this football team sits. Forget all the other bullshit out there. Forget it all. If this team doesn't get these trenches solidified and put in the right position to be successful, this Steelers team will have a rough and rocky next couple years. So that's it, guys. I'm going to get off my soapbox again. This is something that I'm very passionate about. I think the trenches are the most important football or part of any football team. It is the absolute foundation of any football team. And I'm super passionate about the guys, the big guys, the guys in the trenches. And I've never played there personally, so I have no attachment that way. But just after coaching and really analyzing and breaking down football, I realized to myself what truly matters and what really gets a team kick-started. And that is the men in the trenches that mean oh so much. So until tonight, we'll say about 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Steel City Live. I'm Jason. This is Mike Drop Sports. Don't forget to hit the like button and share this to all your friends and family. And let's grow this channel into what it can be and what it is already, and keep it healthy, keep it thriving. And that is a very special channel for all of us to come and voice our opinions. So I'll see you tonight, guys. Peace.